Regular show has a lot of couples, some that fans deeply loved and some that fans wish never got together. And today, we're covering them all. Every single couple on this list is going to get a love rating, and at the very end of this video, we're putting them on a final leaderboard to crown the actual best couple in the entire series. But first, we start with possibly the worst couple in the entire show. Mordecai and Margaret met in the very first season at the local coffee shop where Margaret worked as a waitress. Mordecai walked in, took one look at her, and immediately forgot how to be a functioning adult.
What? But it's opening night. Do you know how hard it was to get these tickets?
Hey guys, your food's almost ready. Sorry for the holdup.
Oh, hey Margaret. I was wondering, would you,
He has a hard time trying to espresso himself.
His entire personality shifted the second she walked over to take his order. He stuttered, he sweated, he could barely string a sentence together, and from that moment on, the central romantic plot of regular show was set in stone. Now, for the first few seasons, things were actually going kind of well. Margaret flirted with him at the coffee shop, hung out with him outside of work, even brought him along to family events. Mordecai got closer to her than anyone thought he ever would. But the problem was, Mordecai was so painfully bad at expressing himself, writers had to invent entire episodes just to give him an excuse to talk to her. Take season 3 episode 16, Butt Dial. Mordecai accidentally leaves an embarrassing voicemail on Margaret's phone confessing his feelings, panics, and decides the only reasonable solution is to break into her apartment and delete it.
Okay, there she is. Oh
no! Ooh, burned! She saw that you left a message and didn't even check it. That's cold, man.
Shut up. Okay, I'm gonna go in there and start talking to her. You go around through the side, sneak up under the table behind her and swipe her phone.
Love it. These hands were made for swiping.
The man would rather commit a felony than have a normal conversation. And honestly, that pretty much sums up the whole relationship. Season 4, episode 39, Stake Me Amadeus. After 3 full seasons of build-up, Mordecai finally confesses his feelings to Margaret at a fancy steakhouse.
The last few weeks I've spent with you have been the best few weeks of my life. I feel like we're growing closer every day, and no one makes me happier than you do. Margaret, will you be my girlfriend?
And right when he says it, Margaret reveals she just got accepted into her dream journalism school in another state far away. She leaves, she actually left. And the show acts like this is a heartbreaking tragedy, when in reality, it was the most realistic thing that could ever happen to Mordecai, because no woman with a career was going to wait around for a guy who needed a felony to leave a voicemail. She came back later in the series for a brief second chance, but by then, Mordecai was already dating someone else, and the whole thing turned into a love triangle nobody asked for. By the series finale, Mordecai and Margaret are not together. She has her own career, her own life, and Mordecai has moved on for good. Couple the entire show was built around ended up being one that worked the least. Honestly, this definitely gets a 3 out of 10 for me. But for every couple the writers ruined, there's one they got perfectly right, and it might be the most beloved couple in the entire series. Rigby and Eileen met in season 2, episode 4, Brain Eraser. Eileen first showed up as Margaret's best friend, a mole with thick glasses, and from the moment she laid eyes on Rigby, she was completely into him. The problem though, Rigby treated her like she didn't exist. In her early appearances, Rigby was openly mean to Eileen. He made fun of her glasses, dodged her at every turn, and acting like talking to her was a personal punishment.
Rigby, I was wondering, do you like miniature golf? Me too! You know, in an ironic way. My shift ends early tonight. Wanna go?
Yeah, Rigby, wanna go?
Yeah, I'm waxing my car tonight, so...
Oh, that's cool. I didn't mean it like a date or anything.
Most viewers watching for the first time saw the dynamic and assumed she was just a one-off character. Nobody expected her to become anything more, but Eileen never gave up. Not in a desperate way, just in that quiet, confident way where she knew she was out of his league and was willing to wait for him to figure it out. And then came the turning point. Season 2, episode 18, Do Me a Solid, Mordecai bribes Rigby into going on a double date with Margaret and Eileen by promising him a solid he can cash in later. Rigby agrees, fully expecting to hate the entire night.
Dude, do me a solid and go out with Eileen so I can go on a date with Margaret.
What? Why?
Dude, come on.
All right, I'll do it. For 10 solids.
What? That's ridiculous.
Okay, that's cool. Then I guess you won't mind Mordecrying yourself to sleep tonight instead of going on a hot date with Margaret.
Fine.
But the biggest flex the writers gave them came in season 6, episode 17, Eileen flat screen.
What's going on?
Surprise! Check it out, Eileen. Your TV's all set up. Don't worry about the installs. It's ready for your eyeballs.
Nuh-uh! You guys didn't have to go to so much trouble. Thank you.
It was all Rigby's idea.
Really?
We find out they've been secretly dating for months. Let that sink in. While Mordecai was screaming into the void about his love life, while CJ was turning into a hurricane, while Benson was getting humiliated for the 3rd time in a row, Rigby and Eileen were quietly building a functional relationship behind everyone's back. It showed that Rigby didn't need to perform for the cameras for anyone. He just wanted to be with her. That's the moment they stopped being a will they won't they couple and became the most mature couple on the show. And then in season 7, episode 25, Rigby goes to prom. Rigby officially asks Eileen to be his girlfriend.
Wow, hydrangea macrophylla, my favorite.
Even though they'd already been dating, the moment was a full circle payoff for his entire character arc. The same Rigby who couldn't even acknowledge Eileen existed back in season 2 was now standing in front of her in a tuxedo, asking her to be his girlfriend out loud. That's not romance, that's character development. And then the series finale, the show fast forward through the rest of their lives and we see Rigby and Eileen with 2 kids, a raccoon mole hybrid and a mole raccoon hybrid. They are without a doubt the most stable family in the entire 25-year later montage. The dumbest guy on the show ended up with the smartest woman. The selfish raccoon became a husband and a father, and somehow it made perfect sense. This is the couple fans have voted as the best in the entire series for years. The writing, the chemistry, the slow burn, the payoff, it's all there. No other couple comes close. Honestly, we have to give them a 10 out of 10 already on this list. Now, we know who the best is, but before we get to anyone else who came close, let's talk about the guy who got dragged through the worst love life of any character on the show. Benson is the park manager. We all know this, a gumball machine with anger issues and a short fuse and a permanent vein popping out of his forehead. So when the writers decided to give him a love life, they made the strange choice of giving him several. And for the most part of the series, every single one of them ended in a disaster. Then there was Audrey. Introduced in season 3, episode 34, Weekend at Benson's, Audrey was the calm, sweet, completely normal woman who somehow looked at Benson screaming at his employees and thought, yeah, that's the one.
Dude.
Benson! Where have you been? My party started 2 hours ago. Everything okay? Oh, great! Come on in and join the party!
Audrey was actually a great fit on paper, but the show never gave them anything to do. She'd show up, smile, say 2 lines, and disappear for 10 episodes. She had no personality outside of being Benson's girlfriend, no real arc, no defining traits. The writers introduced her and then forgot about her for entire seasons at a time. The relationship didn't end with a dramatic breakup or a big moment. It just fizzled out. Off screen, the writers confirmed it later in season 5, episode 33, with a single throwaway line. That's it. 2 seasons of build-up, and the show treated it like a phone bill that got canceled. And then there was Pam. Pam was honestly the best fit Benson ever had. She first appears in season 7, episode 31, Pam I Am.
Also check in his sweat. Sorry about that.
No, I'm sorry. I just get so caught up in my work.
She was calm, she was supportive, she got his job stressed because she had a high pressure job too. The 2 of them actually had real chemistry. They could talk to each other like adults, they could vent about their day. They felt like a real adult couple dealing with real adult problems. Career versus relationship, time versus commitment. For the first time ever, Benson looked like a guy who might actually be happy. And what did the writers do? They had Pam get a job offer in another city and Benson had to watch her go. It looked like the same Benson pattern. Another woman gone, another relationship dead. But here's the thing, the writers actually came back for him. In the series finale, the 25 years later montage, in a regular epic final battle, we see Benson at the park's reopening ceremony and standing right next to him is Pam. They made it work. After everything, the job offer, the distance, the years apart, Benson got his ending. The man who spent years holding the park together finally got his ending. And if the finale montage is anything to go by, he and Pam spent their retirement together in a house filled with pets. It's a quite domestic ending for the loudest guy in the show, and honestly, he earned it. He's not getting full marks though. The journey was brutal. 3 relationships, 2 of them ended in humiliation. One of them was so undefined, the show literally forgot about it. The payoff with Pam in the finale saves the rating from rock bottom, but the writers put him through hell to get here. Compatibility rating, I give it about a 5 out of 10. But Benson finally getting his happy ending, that's nothing compared to the love story we're about to talk about, because his next couple is the saddest one in the entire series. Skips is the immortal Yeti who works at the park. He's quiet, he's wise, he can lift a truck with one arm, and he's been alive for centuries. But here's the thing nobody knew for the first few seasons of the show. Skips wasn't always Skips. His real name was Walks.
Mr. Walks, according to your permanent record, you've been expelled from 3 schools this year alone. And this was due to fighting and pugilistic tendencies?
Yeah, I might have done some of that.
Walks was a young man, full of energy, full of life. And one day at high school, he met a new girl who didn't fit in with anyone else. Her name was Mona. And the second he laid eyes on her, he knew. They danced together, they laughed together, they planned an entire future together. Walks and Mona weren't just in love. They were the kind of couple that everyone in town knew belonged with each other. And the thing they loved doing the most, skipping together everywhere. But there was a problem. Mona had a bully, a literal demon named Clorkbane the Destroyer. And during the high school dance, Clorkbane attacked. In the chaos that followed, Mona was killed. Walks lost the love of his life, and the man who would become Skips was left standing in the wreckage of the best day of his life. Now turned into the worst.
Don't you see, Walks? I rule this school and everyone in it. You're a fool to challenge me. I waited a long time for this.
And here's where Skips becomes Skips. In his grief, Walks was approached by the Guardians of Eternal Youth. They offered him immortality for one reason, so he could defeat the villain who caused the tragedy, Clorkbane. But Walks added his own condition. He would never walk again. From that day on, he would only skip, as a tribute to the way he and Mona used to dance together. That's why he skips. It's not a curse and it's not a joke. The most iconic running gag in the entire show is actually a vow of eternal mourning. Every time Skips enters a frame, he is actively choosing to remember Mona. Centuries went by. Skips never moved on. He never replaced her. He never wanted to. By the series finale, Skips is still alive, still skipping, still carrying Mona with him every single step he takes, and he never moved on. And honestly, that's the whole point. Skips and Mona aren't the funniest couple in a regular show. They're not the cutest, but they're the most real. The only reason they didn't earn a perfect 10 is because death pulled them apart before they could grow old together. Compatibility rating, I give it a 9 out of 10. Skips waited centuries for one dance. Wait until you meet the most underrated husband in the entire show. He's a literal Grim Reaper, and his marriage might be the healthiest one on this list. Death first appears in season 2, episode 18, Over the Top. A tall, intimidating Reaper who shows up to claim Rigby's soul after Skips accidentally kills him in an arm wrestling match. He rides a motorcycle, he talks in a British accent, he collects souls for a living, the literal embodiment of the end of human existence.
Death. You haven't changed a bit. So what's the occasion here, Skips? Finally killed someone, eh?
So when the writers introduced his wife, the audience braced for the worst. Was she gonna be scary, evil? Nah, her name is Birdie. She's large, four-armed, red-skinned demon with a sweet personality and a British accent herself. And the two of them are absolutely adorable together. The episode where we really see the curtain pulled back in season 3, episode 28, Dead at 8, Death isn't there to claim a soul. He's there because he and Birdie have an anniversary, and he needs Mordecai and Rigby to babysit their son, Thomas.
Oi, Thomas, say hi to Uncle Murdo and Uncle Riggs.
Come on, Thomas. Come to Mummy. Make sure he's asleep when we get back. If he isn't, I will be most disappointed in you. All of you.
I will be disappointed also.
Think about that. The man who collects souls for a living, the figure that every human on Earth fears, is reduced to a dad trying to negotiate a babysitting deal with Mordecai and Rigby so he can take his wife out for a date night. Seeing the Grim Reaper haggle over hourly pay with a guy whose entire personality is "my mom" is one of the funniest and best subversions of the entire show. And what makes Death and Birdie such a great couple is how subtle they are. They're not in any drama, they're not a part of any love triangles, they're not breaking up every season. They just love each other. They take anniversaries seriously though, enough to hire a babysitter. And every single time we see them on screen, they're happy.
Oh, thanks for a perfect anniversary, darling.
In a show full of toxic relationships and bad communication, Death and Birdie stand out as one of the few couples who actually work. They never fight on screen. They never get used as cheap drama. They're just two people in love, raising their kids, living their lives. Quick side note, the writers named Death's son Thomas months before the park intern Thomas ever showed up. Two Thomases in the same show. At the end of the series, Death and Birdie are still together. Death is one of the most powerful characters in the entire show, and Birdie, the woman who tamed him, is honestly the unsung hero of the series. The only reason they aren't ranked higher is screen time. We didn't get to see them enough and the show's loss. And that's the show's loss, not theirs. I gotta give them a rating of 8 out of 10. Now, from one of the show's healthiest relationships back to one of the worst, and this one really hurts because it could have worked. Mordecai and CJ's origin story is actually a disaster from day one. They met in season 3, episode 20, Yes Dude, Yes. After Mordecai joined a dating app called Couples For You because he mistakenly thought Margaret was engaged.
Yes, dude. Yes.
CJ was a cloud girl with a fun personality, an actual sense of humor, and zero baggage. And the second she found out Mordecai only asked her out to get over Margaret, she nearly destroyed the coffee shop with a thunderstorm. That should have been the warning sign. The very first episode CJ appears in, she literally turns into a storm because of Mordecai's commitment issues. The writers told us immediately who this guy was, and we ignored it. Then came the bridge. Season 4, episode 24, New Year's Kiss. Mordecai kisses a girl in a mask at a New Year's party because he doesn't want to be the only one not kissing anyone.
You know, 12 o'clock isn't over yet. We can still make the best of this.
Huh?
And then it's later revealed the girl in the mask was CJ, and that's what kickstarted their actual relationship in season 5, which made the Margaret love triangle that followed so much more painful because we were watching CJ fall for him a second time, knowing the first time ended in a literal hurricane. And on paper, season 5 CJ was perfect. She was funny, she was confident, she liked the same things Mordecai did. She actually called him out when he was being stupid, which was almost all the time. For an entire season, fans were genuinely rooting for them.
Let us then view a replay of your history together.
Oh, gross. How old are you?
But it's true.
I can't believe this. Are you just playing? Is this a game to you? Make the best of this.
Huh?
And then the writers absolutely ruined it because Margaret came back. I actually commit to CJ or actually choose Margaret. The show dragged out a love triangle for half a season. Mordecai lied to both of them, snuck around and acted like a coward. It set a pattern that would define their entire run. CJ giving 100%, Mordecai using her as a safety net. Fans turned on him so fast, and honestly, they were right to. The writers used CJ's literal nature as a cloud to show her emotional state. But the moment that actually kills the relationship comes in the Christmas special. Merry Christmas, Mordecai. Mordecai kisses Margaret while he's dating CJ in front of her.
No.
Oh my gosh.
I didn't mean to
really
do that.
wasn't. I mean,
Mordecai?
That's it. That's the end. CJ went from a girl who just wanted a cool boyfriend to a woman literally reigning on her own life because of his decisions. They broke up. They tried to be friends. It just didn't work. And here's where it gets even worse. CJ is one of the only major characters who does not appear in the 25 years later montage. Not as a friend, not as somebody who moved on. The writers just cut her completely. Meanwhile, Mordecai ends up marrying a bat lady named Steph, a character who shows up in literally one scene in the entire series. That's who he ended up with. Not Margaret, Margaret, not CJ, a random Batwoman with no buildup. Fans are still mad about this, and they should be. CJ deserved better. And honestly, I have to give that a rating 4 out of 10. A couple that could have been a 9, maybe even a 10, ruined by a guy who couldn't pick a lane. But the next couple, they picked their lane and they never looked back. Muscleman and Starla first showed up on screen together in season 2, episode 21, Muscle Woman. And the way the writers introduced their love story was actually genius, because when the episode starts, Muscleman is already obsessed with Starla after their first date, but she hasn't called him back. She dumped him.
And I don't see a ring on that finger, so what are you waiting for? Go get her!
Hey, you're a chick. I was wondering if you wanted to. I can't do this! This heart beats for another! Starla!
Then we find out their actual origin story through dialogue. They met at a clothing store, both shopping in the shirt section. The second they made eye contact, it was over. She matched his energy and his volume. They screamed whoa at each other, and somehow it was romantic. But back to the breakup. When Starla dumps him in a Muscle Woman, Muscleman doesn't just get sad. He undergoes a complete personality transplant.
Dude, you gotta snap out of it. Benson is making us do all your work.
I can't work. I'm busy stuffing my face hole.
Season 6, episode 20, the end of Muscleman. Muscleman proposes to Starla in front of all their friends.
Starla, will you marry me? The Muscle Man me?
Yes!
You may have to let that out a little.
The man got down on one knee and gave a speech. The writers played the entire proposal completely straight. No jokes, no irony, no winking at the camera. Just two people promising the rest of their lives to each other. And then, right at the end, after she says yes, he gets in one final "my mom" joke. Because, of course he did. Because even in the most serious moment, Muscleman never loses the trashy charm that made Starla fall in love with him in the first place. That's the magic. And then came the payoff. By the series finale, Muscleman and Starla are married with a trailer full of kids, and every single one of them looks exactly like Muscleman. It's one of the most satisfying parts of the entire 25 years later sequence. Muscleman, the guy who lived in the trailer, ate out of trash cans and called everyone bro, ended up with the most stable, loving, chaotic family in the entire show. Sometimes the loud ones really do find their person, and for that, we have to give them a rating of 9 out of 10. Now we move on to our very final couple, High Five Ghost and Celia. High Five Ghost is one of the quietest characters in the entire series. He barely talks, he floats around, he high fives people. It's literally in his name. He's just Muscleman's loyal best friend hovering in the background of every prank.
That joke really fell flat. You get it? It really fell.
So when the writers finally introduced his love life, fans were surprised, because technically High Five Ghost and Celia met 4 years before the show even started. That's right, 4 years. They met at a concert long before the events of regular show, and then spent nearly the entire series as pen pals, sending postcards back and forth while Celia traveled the world.
Let's meet?
What is it?
It's the postcard from Celia!
Whoa.
Who's Celia? Only the coolest girl I've ever met. 4 years ago, we made a promise to meet when she was done with school in Prague, and now she's back.
Nice, bro. Nice.
Yeah, that's really awesome.
Let that sink in. For 5 whole seasons, while Mordecai was crying over Margaret, while Benson was getting humiliated, while CJ was literally turning into a hurricane, High Five Ghost was quietly maintaining a successful long-distance relationship through the mail. The guy who barely speaks a full sentence was out communicating every other character in the show. And then in season 5, episode 25, Postcard, they finally reunite.
Hey, there's more writing. Let's meet between 6 and 7 p.m. on March 20th. March 20th?
It wasn't just a new spark, it was a 4-year payoff. The second they laid eyes on each other again, it was over. Celia, another ghost with a hand floating on top of her head, was the perfect visual match for Fives. What makes them work is how drama-free they are. They don't just fight, they don't break up, they don't have third parties getting in the middle. They're just two ghosts who like each other and decided to stick together. And then came the finale. By the series finale, High Five Ghost and Celia are married with a tiny baby ghost of their own, a little ghost with a hand floating above his head as well. And High Five Ghost has become a successful DJ with Celia right there next to him. It's a beautiful detail. They met in the music scene, they reunited in the music scene, and they ended up thriving in the music scene together. Here's the thing though, the reason they aren't rated higher, even though their relationship was healthy and worked perfectly, is because the writers gave them almost no screen time. We barely got to see them date. Because if the show had spent half the time on a High Five Ghost and Celia that they spent on Mordecai and Margaret, these two might have been the best couple on the show. I give them a rating of 7 out of 10. So there it is, every couple on the leaderboard. Rigby and Eileen take the crown at a perfect 10. Drop a comment letting me know which one was your favorite and which one you hated. While you're down there, hit that like and subscribe button or your crush won't text you back.